So Warner Brothers has dumped Aquaman, as Amber Heard and Aquaman and the Lost Audience prove that trash fires, they definitely burn way down under the ocean, man. Now, all of this comes as we find out that those early numbers we were told for Aquaman, they weren't true at all. They were actually telling us numbers that made it seem like there was some interest. But now, it looks like Warner Brothers has given up all hope and they're dumping the franchise just like they did with so much of the DCU. And what's absolutely insane about all of this is the flop, it may be much, much worse than people realize, to the point we could be talking about earnings as low as $39 million, not 53, which would mean that it is the worst flop ever as far as superhero movies are concerned. And probably the most amazing part of all of this is that Amber Heard's PR and her media shills, they're still trying to deny that she was the reason all of this happened, saying, she had 15 to 20 minutes there, but she somehow reduced. She only had 11 lines. By the way, you remember that hip injury, right? You and I, we're going to talk about all of this today, too. Franchises burning. Man, who would have thought? Fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. All right, so hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. So Warner Brothers dropped an absolute bombshell telling you that they've given up on Aquaman as a franchise, and most people missed it. See, originally, Warner Brothers behind the scenes, they were holding out hope that Aquaman and the Lost franchise, it could still make back some of that money when they went to streaming. That's why in November, they decided to cut a deal with Netflix, turning over the following: Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Justice League, Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 1984, and the Suicide Squad, but they decided they were going to retain the rights to Aquaman. And what's wild is how fast Warner Brothers decides that they need to do an about face on this and dump Aquaman as a franchise. They are telling the world they have no confidence in this thing whatsoever. Even the mainstream media shills, they picked up on this too. And think about how crazy this is. They waited 1 week. They got in the 4-day numbers from Christmas. They saw that performance and they were like, hey, Netflix, you interested in Aquaman? So what that means is that they will be streaming Aquaman 2 on Warner Brothers, but they won't have Aquaman to reflect back on. That's telling you point blank, they've given up on the franchise. They've given up on this movie being in theaters. And what this also tells you is that somebody's career, 100%, it's going to get buried because of this. There is no coming back from that at all. I wonder who that would be. It might be the person that DC decided they would speak out against when they started targeting the producer of the film and James Wan, the star of the film and Jason Momoa. And what is absolutely wild about all of this is while most of the people that are connected to this movie, they are quiet. They're not saying anything about it at all. You have Amber Heard's PR and her show media doing anything to point the finger. If you look at this is from the Daily Mail. That's the same place that put out, hey, she's on the Hollywood comeback. Look for Aquaman and the Lost franchise. They're telling you, she was actually greatly downplayed in this movie. She only had 15 to 20 minutes in a 124-minute movie, which is a lot of screen time, by the way, for a secondary character. But they say, you know what? She only had 11 speaking lines. By the way, don't you feel terribly bad for her? After all, the place that reported all of that, Business Insider, they also mentioned that she's recently recovering from a major hip injury. Doesn't have anything to do with that, but it is a way to deflect and a way to try to make people feel sorry for her. Anything. It is so wild. Now, what's even crazier is that this Amber Heard effect may be much much worse than is being reported. That's why Warner Brothers decided they're going to dump this. What I mean is that the number we're being told here, yeah, this may be significantly lower. Not lower, significantly lower. Now, even if it stands, first of all, I want you to consider this. You've gone from $1.143 billion earned in 2018, $73 million earned in the home box office, plus streaming rights, merchandising, and more, to a number that is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Like I said, I think it's much worse here because I've never seen anything like this. You'll notice soft opening. Soft opening, $4.5 million. You're dragging up. You make a few million each time. Remember, that is an added on. That's not how much you make day. That is your total revenue. Then you get here. You'll notice there was a plateauing effect. This is starting to flatten out. But then, boom. It rebounds, and the rebound, well, it's strange. Remember, we were told first and foremost, this day right here, $40 million. That what was earned now? Now it's $38,300,000. They've gone in and corrected it. Look at the range there, though. They're telling you $38 million is popping up in a range of somewhere between $30 million and $32 million. That doesn't make sense, right? Same thing. It keeps going like that. You have $52,495,000 reported with a range of $34 to $39 million. And just to make this completely understood, typically, here's Wonka. Wonka, if you look at the range here, you have a day, just picking a random one, $85 million reported. That's what's on that day. You'll notice the range is somewhere between $66 million and $89 million. So that's popping up somewhere between those numbers, right? Not in the case of Aquaman. In the case of Aquaman, they're telling us, yeah, that actually is only made around $40 million, not around 52. It may be significantly lower. On top of that, we're hearing about the international audience. Oh, they're reacting positively. Yeah, they're not. They're not at all. If you look at this, $30 million coming out of China. That's better than expected, but it mirrors, just like with the first movie, it's mirroring what looks like might be the real totals coming out of the domestic box office. And you also have 70 plus other territories reporting in. They're only making $50 million. So all of that coming together, the percentages, they add up just like the first movie did. Only you're talking about, instead of making bank, you're talking about losing potentially hundreds of millions of dollars. No wonder Warner Brothers decided to cut bait and run.